RedShark's IBC coverage is brought to you by Matrox, Simply, and VizRT.
So we're at Avid, and Greg, what's new for Avid?
So one of the key things that we're showing here at the show is lots of workflows in the cloud, lots of workflows involving streaming into the cloud, editing in the cloud, and then distributing in the cloud as well. So some of the things that we're showing here involve a complete post-production system actually running in the cloud, so you can spin it up when you want to, work with it there and spin it back down when you don't need it. You can also connect it to your on-prem system, so you can have a proxy workflow running in the cloud as well, and that's called Avid Edit On Demand. Now, one of the things we've introduced with Edit On Demand is also the ability of doing SRT streaming out. So for an over-the-shoulder workflow, for example, I could just have my mobile phone and I could be able to access and view everything that's coming from the editor. As well as Edit On Demand, we're also showing a new proxy workflow. This is something that's a tech preview here at the show, which is called Avid Nexus Edge. And really what that's about is about remote and distributed workflows, where I can access content and work on it through a browser and also do some editing with it. And then as an editor, I can pick that up inside Media Composer. And if I want to use that Nexus Edge remote connectivity to create proxies as well. So that's something as a tech preview, will be coming soon from Avid. And then in addition to that, we're also showing, again as a tech preview here, new workflows between Media Composer and Pro Tools. So, you know, our flagship editing and audio products. And what you can do from Media Composer now is export out a Pro Tools session, access that in Pro Tools, import it in, do your work, and then send it back. And we're expecting that to be a really big hit when it's released with the post-production community.
Yeah, especially if you run like a facility that kind of moves a lot back and forth, and I guess that's important.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we've always had good workflows between Media Composer and Pro Tools, but really this is all about taking it to the next level, making the integration much more native, less translation of files, and providing it in a simple and effective way. And for what we're actually doing here at the show, that's the only piece of equipment we actually have. Everything else that we're doing is all running in the cloud, so it's a really exciting time.
Now, you see a lot of cloud solutions around, and obviously it makes sense to go into the cloud. On the other hand, you would say like maybe post-COVID, there might be a run back to ye old facility. Yeah. Is this still something people want? Is this all about flexibility? What kind of is behind it?
Absolutely. I think flexibility is the key part of it. Obviously, what's happened through the pandemic is that editors have got used to working from home. And there's lots of benefits and flexibility about doing that, and I think people will want to continue to do that. However, people still like to be in person. It's great to be here at IBC where we're actually all together again and able to speak to people. So definitely within the post-production market, we are seeing a desire for people to want to be able to work remotely and perhaps do things like finishing, come into the facility to perhaps do grading and work like that, whereas a lot perhaps of the offline work can actually be done from people from home. So I think it's going to be a blended model. I think it offers more flexible working hopefully now for people, and potentially offers them opportunities where maybe in the past they would have to travel to be for example, at Hilversum or come into London to go into Soho, where perhaps they could do that work from home. So perhaps a better work-life balance as well.
And then in terms of like, what other benefits does the cloud give in terms of like, for example, media assets and stuff like that?
Yeah, so I think what really people are looking for is that flexibility of being able to access the content really wherever. We've done some work already with some very large organizations, and what they're looking at doing is capitalizing potentially on a global workforce. Potentially having a follow the sun model where, a project maybe starts in LA and then it moves to Singapore and then it moves to London and then it moves back to LA, and utilizing the cloud for those kind of workflows as well. But it's also about trying to make sure that economically the cloud works as well. It's about making sure that all of the benefits of the cloud are really identified through things like TCO measurement, total cost of ownership, and making sure that that flexibility has real benefits. Because if all you're going to do is take the workflows you have today and just implement them in the cloud, you're probably not going to get the full benefits. And we're seeing a lot of experimentation now for people of really trying to get their understanding of what the cloud can bring for them.
So an exciting future then.
Yep, we think so. Normally when we would come to this kind of show, behind the scenes, we'd have lots and lots of gear. We'd be doing pre-builds for weeks in advance. This time we've come, the only equipment around the back is a Nexus we're using for the Pro Tools and Media Composer workflows. everything else is running in the cloud. And I think that's a testament to the fact that so much now is possible in the cloud, that our entire booth is running in the cloud with Azure.